Hello, welcome to this video as an overview for today's STEM Spartan launch. There will be information linked at the end of this presentation so that you may get more of your questions answered if you have them. What we discussed today was just talking first about getting some feedback about what is exciting about coming to STEM. So I hope you can answer that for us as you join us either in person or online. Today in the launch, we discussed that in-person learning expectations and the safety measures, masks, cleaning, all of those things will be discussed in much more detail for in-person learners during next week's orientation days. For virtual learners, those things don't apply, so we're just going to stick to some things that apply to everyone today. Here at STEM School Highlands Ranch, we utilize our formula for character, which was developed when the school began 10 or so years ago. Here we envision a world of exponential possibilities where every child develops the innate knowledge, skills, and creativity and character to thrive, lead, and succeed in an ever-changing future. We use this formula for character in these traits: honesty, integrity, empathy, respect, and responsibility throughout the year. We will start our orientation week with guiding students, teaching about these all through all grades here at STEM. There's also more details about student character and expectations in the parent-student handbook. Here's a link to the high school and middle school bell schedule. So this is for all 6th through 12th graders. This has a lot of detail in regards to in-person or virtual learning times. More will be discussed later, but we just, during the session today, wanted to walk students through what will their day look like. So this looks very confusing because there's so many different time periods on it, but I just want you to see as a student that when you come or when you are online for a blue day, which is every Monday and Wednesday, or a gold day, which is every Tuesday and Thursday, you will go through 4 blocks: period 2, 4, 6, and 8 on blue days, period 3, 5, 7, and 9 on gold days. Fridays alternate between gold and blue, and a difference there is we do have an advisement period that I'll discuss later that only happens on Fridays. I also want you to see that common question we get is, why does it start with period 2 and where's period 1? So you can see on that schedule that it says 7 to 7:45. This is an extremely rare period that is scheduled into some students' day. The normal school schedule is 7:50 to 2:55. That will be for this year. The period 1 is often for some specialized electives or clubs that meet during that time. Some people you'd need to know as you join the STEM School Spartan family is, if you're in middle school, Mrs. MH will be your assistant director, or at other schools, maybe assistant principal. Mr. Hoffman is the high school assistant director, so both of them will be seen often in the hallways here and are available to be contacted via email as well. And also Mrs. Wise works at our main office entrance, where most students, or all students, secondary 6 through 12, will enter the building. So those are some friendly, familiar faces that are very helpful to students. I also wanted to list out here our whole K-12 administration team. All of their bios and contact information can also be found on our school website. Some other important faces are our student support team. So in middle school, we have 2 counselors and a social worker. In high school, we have a few counselors, also a college and career counselor, a social worker, and a counseling assistant that assists 612. So those are all friendly faces that can help students with schedules as they're new. So I'll go back there, the middle school team and the high school team. They're also part of our mental health team and definitely are great support for students as we, whether they're here or virtually. Some apps that we discussed during the launch today were Clever. I don't know that this is working for everyone yet. This is new to us this year, but it is intended to be a one-stop place for all student access. They can get to Infinite Campus, Google, Canvas, all these other apps that teachers allow them to use. So as more information is available from our IT department, I will include that, or we will include that on our website at a later date. We use Google account really Largely students use their email and their Drive, as well as the other applications that teachers will ask them to use, documents, spreadsheets, slides, those kinds of things. Canvas is our main learning management system for the secondary, so that would be Google Classroom in some other grades or at other schools, but for here we use Canvas as the main gateway for students to access all of their content, their Zoom links, all of those important things, and I'll go into detail more there. Infinite Campus through the parent portal is where you're going to find your schedule, and those should be posting shortly. This video was made on Tuesday, as I said, Tuesday, August 11th. Here's where you can find your Google account information. The basic setup is its first dot last name at s.stemk12.org, and the password there is a default for all students. It's highly suggested that you change it the first time you log in and save it somewhere very safe, maybe a couple places. It's really important that you make sure you do the s.stemk12.org, as just the stemk12.org will be staff emails, not students, so it would bounce back. Here's how students are going to log into Canvas, again, which is the main kind of gateway or portal to our learning management system. Your schedule is linked with your Canvas account and your Google account. So these all things work together in terms of you need to have access to that Google account so that you can log into Canvas. So here as a teacher, when I go to log in, mine already auto-populates because I have an account. If you have never signed in or you've been logged out, it will automatically ask you to sign in with your Google account. So we look through what's important in Canvas. These are some of the great or the most used things on that side, blue sidebar. Settings and notifications are in the account option. Dashboard is important for students to be able to see their daily to-do list and all of their courses. There's more tutorials also later in terms of more in-depth. The calendar is a great organizational tool for students, and that's where their Zoom links will be available and easily accessed so they know when to sign on for their virtual days or if they're a 100% virtual learner. Also, the inbox is where they can get course notifications and get some notification from teachers, although main contacts for teachers should be used with email. Here linked in the PDF that is attached to this post is a tutorial for students and a tutorial for parents on Canvas, so hopefully those are helpful. We discussed also just this idea of when I'm at home, whether I'm a hybrid or 100% virtual learner, what am I being asked to do? Whether it's a blue or a gold day, you should have assignments and a daily check-in with each teacher for when you're at home. It's really important to try to stay caught up on your Canvas announcements. Teachers send messages that way, and it also goes to your Google account or your Gmail. You can also keep in contact with your teachers via email. Please keep in mind that they are also teaching here at school. So when you're at home, sometimes they might not be able to reply to an email right away. Also, you'll find some more specifics from teachers next week during orientation week in terms of when are things due. These will also all show up on your calendar. Some opportunities that we will have starting a couple weeks into school might be some after school clubs. This is through our enrichment tab in our school website. We are offering fall sports for high schoolers for golf and cross country currently, so that information is also available on the website. The high school also offers after school activities. None of those enrichment activities or clubs will be starting until at least 2 weeks after the start of the school year. I did mention this to students just so they know these are opportunities for future years. We offer some optional field trips. Most of these are 2 to 3 or full week camps or trips that students can take. And there's lots more opportunities available as we come out of the COVID time. One question that we get related to the schedule is, what is that advisement or advisory period? Really the point of it is to build community amongst students, and they will have an advisor that will follow them for several years as they continue here at STEM. There will be a focus on character development, reflection, social emotional learning, as well as utilizing a program we use here at STEM and in Douglas County called Sources of Strength. We did talk about one more point of safety for in-person learning, that safety is certainly our number one priority, and we are hoping that new families, parents, and students along can, make sure you're maintaining slow speeds, stay off of your cell phones, follow instructions during the Driveline. There's just a lot of moving cars as we're trying to get students in and out of the building morning and afternoon. So we ask for your patience and your attention to detail during those times. Where can I get my information? Students can build in great habits by checking and keeping up to date with their Gmail account. There's also a weekly student newsletter that will start coming out from our communications director. And the school website really does have a lot of the resources that you need. For students, I directed them during today's session up to the top tab here where it says students. This is a great place where they can start to get some information. Student support services, as they scroll down, some of those more important quick links are also there. So each of these kind of takes you into another place. If they have specific questions about academics, they could go to their respective school under that tab. Also, calendars is a great place for you to get information regarding the bell schedule, or is it a blue or gold day? So I'd say students, academics, and calendars are some of the more beneficial tabs there. Some other social media opportunities for following if a student is of age, you may use that. And then also our school contact phone number also is there if needed. Lastly, I wanted to draw your attention to, if you see this before Thursday or Friday of this week, we are offering some in-person tours for students only. Face coverings will be required and temperatures will be checked. This will be our first time having students in the building. We're so excited, but we will be taking some extra precautions, and groups are limited to no more than 15 students. We would love to be able to welcome more families into the building, but at this time, these tours are for students only as we're preparing to bring in more students going into next week. And that's it for today's Spartan Launch. If you have questions, please use our communications pathway or communications@stemk12.org if you're needing any of your questions answered. Thank you.